You alright lads, this is the GeordieJedi here, and today, match review of Newcastle United versus Manchester City. We lost 2-0, and to be honest, I'm in a bit of a funny mood. I was a bit lucky to get there. I've got to thank me Rob for that. You know, I got into the Leazes. I was sitting in the Leazes end, pretty good seat, so thanks to Rob for that. And as I said, I was in a funny mood because, well, we lost 2-0. Always a shame, disappointment. You know, we should have won. We deserved it, and we should have drawn. And the thing is, we deserved it. That's the good thing, is our performance deserved a draw. I thought we played brilliantly, especially against Manchester City. Now Manchester City weren't at their best. They weren't. I'll be honest, this is kind of back to where my preview came in, which is when I said the reason why Manchester City is such a good side and won the league was because of their fans and their players, and not because of their manager. And this was the epitome of that. Their players played brilliantly. Their fans were brilliant. They gave us a run for our money as far as chanting goes. And I loved instead of Que Sera, it was Steven Gerrard. He slipped on his fucking ass. Gerrard, you know, that was pretty good. I like that one. So they gave a good run for money, but their tactics were wrong. They weren't the same Manchester City side. They really weren't. They won because of their players and getting a touch of quality right at the right moment, and that was it. Personally, apart from that, I thought we played better. Now, on to us. Our performance was pretty good. We passed it beautifully, and unlike last year, last year there was only really one player who used to fight for the ball, and that was Anita. And of all the players to fight for the ball, it wasn't Anita you wanted to do it, because I mean, you know, he's such a short guy. You know, he's not strong. So if he's fighting a big lad for the ball, you don't want him doing it, because otherwise he's probably going to lose and we're going to be a man down. But in this case, pretty much everybody did. You know, Jack Colback played brilliantly, fought for the ball repeatedly, he won it repeatedly, he didn't give away many fouls. He was even up front as well, as in like an attacking midfielder, which is weird because he was there when you needed him, no matter where you needed him. If you wanted him in defence, he was there. If you wanted him in attack, he was there. Outstanding player today. I mean, man of the match for me. Just going on, you know, man of the match, Jack Colback, played beautifully, absolutely amazing. Passing, perfect. Defence was alright, really. I mean, obviously, there were a couple of, you know, oof moments. You know, my God, how did that miss? But overall, especially Williamson, and Colaccini, the last-ditch tackles was, you know, quite a bit of a highlight of the game. There was quite a few last-ditch tackles just to put them off. Also, there weren't many counter-attacks from Manchester City because our defenders slowed them down, which was good. Now, the downside to our performances, it's kind of two, but it's also one in of itself. The one being is that we seemed incredibly cheeky. I mean, we tried to be clever. With Manchester City, it doesn't work. There were quite a few times when what happened is, Remy Cabella, Sissoko, maybe even, actually not so much Riviere, but those two players get on quite well. I was at the open training day, and those two seemed to have a good partnership going. Anyways, the pair of them, what they do is they'd run at defenders, and it's a bit like Ben Arthur. You know, you'd beat say 2 defenders, and then there was a third one waiting for him, and he wouldn't beat him. And then as soon as that happened, they had the ball and they were away, which was obviously the downside. Because, don't get me wrong, we'll love to see a player that'll beat a man, that'll beat 1 or 2 players. But when it gets to the point, if you're taking on 3 of them, it's not the best option. I don't care if you pass back after you've beaten 2 defenders. It's a shame. But if you've beaten 2 defenders and there's a third one waiting, you might as well pass it, because you might as well pass it back, because otherwise you're going to lose the ball. In which case they could go on and score, and you're going to be in the shit, because you've just given them the ball, you know. And then, trying to be a bit too clever, is the fact that they chose to pass. It was really weird. Basically, the decision making was off completely. There were times when, again, Remy Cabella and Sissoko, those kind of players, where they'd pass the ball instead of taking the shot themselves. The only time Sissoko had a shot was his left foot and he failed. And that was because he, for some unknown reason, he thought he didn't have time to put on his right. Which is weird because he missed a shot, because he missed a goal, because he tried to put it on his right. You know, he did. Maybe he tried to make up for that by doing a left foot shot and then failed. But anyways, basically what happened, they passed instead of going for the shot themselves. That's part of the reason why we didn't have many shots or shots on target, was because we didn't shoot. Pardew must have told everybody apart from Riviere that they have to pass and they can't shoot. You know, don't shoot, just pass. Riviere will do the rest. Because he's by himself up there. Now, that's it really on the bad point. To be honest, there's no fault in being a bit too clever. But, you know, pick your fights. If you're being a bit too clever against, well, I don't know, who would say, Burnley, fair enough. You know, you can be a bit clever with Burnley, you can get away with it. With Manchester City, no. You can't get away with being clever with Manchester City because they know what they're doing. You know, they go up against teams like Arsenal who are clever, and Chelsea who are clever, and they beat them. So, you know, pick your fights. You can't be clever with Manchester City, you can't be clever with Burnley. It's a simple maths of it all. Just don't pick fights with people who you shouldn't win, who you can't beat. Anyways, now on to the one, actually something I should point out. You know, that Newcastle did a brilliant job of, you know, commemorating the MH17 disaster with Liam Sweeney and John Odler. Yeah, sorry, I don't know why, I just went weird. But, you know, they did a good job. Wreaths, you know, minutes silent, and everybody was silent apart from a little girl who I think didn't understand what was going on. She was going, Daddy. Because, you know, I don't think she knew what was going on. I don't think she knew why we were being silent. But, you know, everybody was respectful. Manchester City were incredibly respectful. They're lovely fans. You know, they had a banner out. I think it might have got taken away for whatever reason, because they had a banner out, but when I looked around I couldn't see it. It was on Twitter, like, picture of the banner, and when I looked around I couldn't see it. Maybe that was just because I couldn't see it rather than it wasn't there. But basically, you know, they were very nice. Now, the main talking point of this game is we seem to have gained something which every Newcastle player likes to see, and that is fighting for the ball. Every player, you know, no matter who it was, even Remy Cabella, who, you know, is a tricky player and he's a bit weak. He's obviously, you know, that's not what he's strong at. That's, you know, that's what we don't want him necessarily. You know, we bought him for his technical skills. We didn't buy him to go kicking people. But every player out there fought for the ball. You know, I mean, there were one or two, you know, little dodgy things like not running at them, but for the most part, everybody fought for it. Everybody was putting the feet in. I mean, we gave away a number of fouls in fairness, but for the most part, because we were fighting for the ball up the pitch, whenever we fouled them and they had a free kick, there wasn't much they could do with it. They only had, I think, about one free kick that made us worry, and that was because Yaya Toure was right on the edge of the box with it. So, you know, we won the ball upfield, and it happened a few times. Riviere won it twice, and this is where the 4-5-1 fails. Riviere by himself won it twice on the wings, and then as soon as he was running, you know, he's fast, he's pretty good. I liked Riviere today, but as soon as he was running, you know, he's on the wing and looks in the box and there's no one there. Like, what am I meant to do? You'd think Remy Cabella would play the number 10 role. He didn't. He was quite lazy, to be honest. I liked him technically. You know, he did some dribbles. He tricked. I think he megged. I think it was Guy Clichy once. No, it might have been Zabaleta, basically. That I think he megged their right back once and then got fouled, and it wasn't a foul according to the referee. But there were quite a few times when any chance he had was because he walked into the box. I thought he was a bit lazy today. He didn't run as much as he should have done. He didn't go forward as much as he should. But in fairness, he did attack. He fought for the ball as well. Bit of a shame. You know, this is just their first game. When you consider they haven't come up against any Premier League opposition until today, you know, I think you can give them a bit of slack. And coming up against Manchester City of all teams to find your way into the Premier League is a bit harsh. So overall, I'm actually quite happy. But performance was pretty good. It was so much better than last year when we lost to Johan Kabay. I loved watching some of our passing game, especially. Everybody was on the same wavelength almost, you know. Man of the match, Jack Colback, just to finish off on, because he fought for the ball and he cared. He looked like he genuinely wanted to be here, and when you consider he's an ex-Sunderland player, to want to be in that stadium and to want to play well is pretty good to see. So, this has been the GeordieJedi. Leave a like if you can, it really helps. Subscribe if you want. For those of you who might not know, what I do is I am predominantly sort of a football kind of person. What I'll do is whenever there's Newcastle news or big football news, I'll report on it, and in the meantime I'll do gaming, but football comes first. You know, I'll do football videos first, and if there is no football to report, I'll do gaming videos, FIFA and otherwise. So I have had a comment, by the way, about someone who would like me to, who thinks I should maybe run 2 channels at the same time, you know, one football, one gaming. And I'll be honest, I'm considering it, but I don't think I'll be doing it anytime soon. I like my format for the time being. I might change it in the future, but maybe not yet. But anyways, comment below if you agree with this, disagree with this. I like to hear your opinions. I also like to hear, you know, if there's something I didn't see. Like, for example, I did see it, but at the time I might not have seen. Every time the ref, you know, did the spray correctly, you go away. And that was because the Arsenal referee kept spraying himself in the face and Santi Cazorla in the face. But basically, you know, there might have been something I didn't see. I'd like to know about it. So, may the force be with you.